Hey everyone, Matt Header here, and welcome to another Guardian Tales banner review. Now, I just want to address the fact that I haven't been uploading in a while. It's simply because I've injured my left wrist. I've posted something in the community post about it, so feel free to check that out. But I will be uploading again soon. You'll get lots of content soon. Series like Zero to Hero will be back, hopefully in a couple of weeks. I'll start covering more updates faster soon. There's a whole bunch of things we need to cover, so much news, so many guides. It's just, I'm sorry, I need to take a break for a bit, just not in peak condition, and I don't want to present that to you guys. But let's talk about the banners we have, right? So the upcoming patch is Venet, Amaris, Andras, and Vishvak. Now, I'll be talking about each of these characters in depth in a bit, but let's go over what this banner actually is. It's actually a raid-centric banner because most of these units aren't useful outside of raid and boss rush, right? And I'm going to be grouping boss rush as raids. Be fine for boss rush. It's right. Boss rush isn't content that you have to hard focus into because you pretty much use almost the same teams as raids, like maybe with a tad bit more survivability depending on how many challenges you're doing. If you're stacking up a whole bunch of trials, then yeah, you're going to need a bit more survivability, which is why Sia, for example, is good there, while Sia isn't good in raids. But I'm just going to be counting them as one because you don't need different characters for the contents. They're both the same DPS meter content, just do as much damage as possible. But let's begin. Venet is a dark support. Her party buff is a weapon regen speed and skill attack. So essentially just skill damage. Her normal attack heals, cleanses and stuff. With her EX, the healing targets are increased, and it does some shields, and it does a range defense shred. Her party buff increases dark attack up to 40% depending on how many dark units you have. Her chain skill is just damage, but her damage isn't that good anyways. So I'm just going to go over these really, really short so I don't waste you guys' time. She is just a good Mono Dark unit. Outside of Mono Dark, she becomes really lackluster, and she is primarily a really solid boss rush and rage unit. She is especially powerful in those two contents because she provides so much offensive utility while simultaneously providing a lot of defensive utility, especially for example something like boss rush, where the survivability also helps a lot. And in raids, all the damage boosts help quite a lot too. And depending on how bad your dodging skills are, the shields and healing can be nice, right? So outside of that, she's not really that great. If you're running Mono Dark, she's perfectly good for stuff like Storian too, but don't try to get Finette and slap her on any team. She's not going to work there. She is just a Mono Dark unit, and she's really damn good in that category. She's not a broken unit outside of Mono Dark, but in Mono Dark, she's phenomenal. She does not need to be max limit broken because she's a support. Her damage sucks. Her EX, you don't need any duplicates to get. Or don't even pull for duplicates. Don't even hammer dupe it because it just doesn't do much for her. She's just a healer and a support. You still get the most out of her without even increasing max limit broken of her or her EX. You don't even need to get the stat nodes. Don't bother with it. Just awaken her normally for chain skills and everything, and don't even bother max limit breaking her. It's a luxury. It's not even necessary. So don't bother. She's good in Mono Dark. She's perfectly good to pick up. But once again, she's a more so raid to mid to end game content focused hero. Next up is Andros. Her partner debuff is a ranged attack. Her normal attack shreds basic, not basic, normal defense. Well, I'll just call it generic defense for the sake of the video. Shreds generic defense by 20% for 3 seconds. She has a ice shard gimmick, which isn't really anything crazy. Her chain skill is just damage. Her special ability is additional damage and some defense, depending on if you need it or not. And her EX is actually not necessary at all whatsoever. And here's why. Because Andros is in my opinion, and arguably the most versatile DPS in the game, because unlike Claude, who works best in Mono Earth, or Mariel, who works best in Mono... I'm sorry. Unlike Claude, who works best in Mono Dark, and Mariel, who works best in Mono Earth, or for example, Elvira, who works best in Mono Fire, but Elvira can also be Splash, just Andros is an infinitely better Splasher. Andros can use any X depending on what comp she's in. If she's in Mono Earth, you want Kama LEX. If she's in Mono Basic, you want Eva EX. If she's in Mono Light, you want Liberator, which I believe is Future Princess EX. I could get the name wrong though. Don't quote me on it. However, yeah, you just splash around on multiple teams. Outside of raids and boss rush, she is relatively useless because all she is just a glass cannon DPS machine, and she's damn good at that. So if you need a super strong raid character, go for her. She's phenomenal, can work in any team. But at the same time, if you're also new, she isn't really that great of an option because you can't really do raids. right? And it's not just because, oh, you're bad or you don't have the characters. It's because of a multitude of reasons. One of them being you don't have the characters, but you also don't have the gear and you don't have the stats. Amaris is Earth Booster. Her party buff is Earth damage. She works really well in Mono Earth raids. Outside of that, she does nothing. She really does nothing outside of that. Special ability isn't anything crazy. The rest of her kit isn't anything out of order. It's just generic DPS stuff. If you only need a Maris if you're doing Mono Earth raids or Mono Earth boss rushes, outside of that, she's pretty damn useless. And yes, she does need her EX. Vishuvok, just don't get her unless you really like Vishuvok. She's just not worth picking up because she doesn't do anything. She's not useful in anything. And some guy's gonna comment like, "Oh, but I used her in Arena once and she one shot blank character." Okay, if you like the character, there's no need to make excuses about it. Go for it. If you enjoy a character, there's nothing stopping you, and if it's gonna make you happier, feel free to go for it. Like I've said, there's more efficient ways to play Guardian Tales and less efficient ways. You don't have to force yourself to play more efficiently all the time, especially if it's not making you happy, right? What's the point of playing a game if you don't have fun? So yeah, if you do find enjoyment in that, feel free to go ahead. However, personally, I recommend just waiting for the next batch of banners to be released so we know if there's anything better or not. However, if it's overall a worse banner week, I'd recommend just going for Andros and then Venet and then just stopping on this banner. Pick up Venet EX too, and then you can just use them later down the line if you get Mono Earth. I mean Mono Dark. Sorry, I keep for example, somehow flipping those two, but Andros can be a great DPS option. However, early to mid game, she's not going to serve you too much because you want a bit more of a balanced comp because the content you're going to be clearing will either need a healer, a tank, or you just need to stat overpower it. And early game, you can't stat overpower anything because your collections and gear aren't good enough. So yeah, that's it for the video. If you're looking for who to summon, just straight up, if you're a mid to end game raid player, Andros, Venet, must haves. Amaris for Mono Earth if you want her. But if you are a raid slave or you want to do raids eventually, Andros is pretty much a must-have, right? And Finet is really good to have for Monodark. If you're a free-to-play player and you already have, the Claude, First Corps Commander and Ogma team ready, just pick up Vinet. She's gonna make it so much stronger, right? And I don't see Monodark getting another replacement anytime soon, so that's probably gonna be your best team possible for a long, long time, unless it just gets another support, in which case that's just extremely bullshit and unfair. Right. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. I know lots of videos are coming up, but just please wait. Just be patient with me. So I'll see you all in the next one.